will spare yourself from anger. Shehi midah ra'a mikol hamidot hatovot. That is the worst enemy of the person. I didn't say this. He said it. He said it 1,000 years ago. That's when the Ramban Nachmanides, not Maimonides, Nachmanides said. And then he continues. V'kasher tinatzel min ha'kas, when you're going to spare yourself from anger, ya'aleh al libcha, will flourish on your heart, midat ha'anava, humility. Shehi midah tova mikol hamidot hatovot. That is the best midah, the best attribute that a person can have. This is what the Ramban says. For me, it's good enough. I can add more wood into the fire. The Zohar writes that when a person is affected by anger, and we're not saying that we don't get angry, because we are humans and we have our difficult times, our challenges, our moments. But the Zohar Kadosh writes that a person needs to be careful. Why? Because it affects the neshama of the person. That's what the Zohar Kadosh writes. The Zohar Kadosh says, you know what else? Don't look at the face of the person at the moment of anger. That's what the Zohar Kadosh says. Better stay quiet. That's exactly what the Mishnah says. Stay quiet. Shlomo HaMelech says it in a beautiful way. Divrei hachamim benachat nishma'im. What does the meaning of this? It says the words of the wise are heard benachat. What's the meaning of nahat? Relax, calmado, calm. But if a person is upset and you're going to try to calm them, the Mishnah is telling us you're not going to help. Better stay quiet, take a step back. When the decibels of the brain and the noise level and that's why the Zohar says one more thing. I'm going to say it to you because I don't believe anybody in this room has the issue of anger. I hope not. Okay? But you know what the Zohar Kadosh says? That at the moment of anger, there is a switch of the neshama of the person. There is a switch of the neshama of the person. Why? Because the neshama cannot stand anger. Because anger, in a way, from the Zohar Kadosh says that the mitzvot and Torah and prayers that a person does under anger mode, they don't go to Kedusha, they go to Tum'ah. They go to the other side. They go to the power of darkness. Now you understand retroactively why the Zohar Kadosh a statue, right? Pesel, an idol. There are places in the world that people glorify a statue without saying the names because it's a Torah class. But you don't have to think too much. Go to the Far East, go to some Central South American countries, and you'll see idolatry. People idol whatever they do in their beliefs, etc. But if you look into the books of Emunah, it says it very clear that the more Emunah the person has, and we learned this with my wife on Mosai Shabbat. Remember the story of the Baal Shem Tov, that a fellow came to the Baal Shem Tov and requested from the Baal Shem Tov, give me a formula, how can I remove negative and dark thoughts from my mind whenever I go through hardship in my life. So, just for you to know, there is such a prayer. Sure. There is a prayer to remove darkness. There is such a thing. But the Baal Shem Tov said to him a simple formula. It says, do you want to reverse darkness from your... That's how the Yesrara works. Who said this? Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, in one of the chapters of Tomer Devora, when he talks about the face of the person and the different parts of the human body, he devotes a chapter on the power of the mind. That the mind, he says, could be your best friend or your worst enemy. If you implement good and positive thoughts, you are in the right track. But if you allow an illegal alien, I use this term everybody can relate to today, right? Illegal alien into your brain, a negative thought, now he's finding a way of how to collect welfare and how to collect all the benefits and get rid of your life by negativity. So the Baal Shem Tov says to this fellow, you believe in a Kadosh Baruch Hu? Yes, I believe in God. You believe that God is in control? I believe. You believe that God... understand that. Maybe if we read the books of Rabbi David Asher, Living Emunah, for example, or you listen to the daily message, or listen to the many beautiful shiurim, not only the ones that he gives here whenever he comes, but online in itorah.com, so that how the person charges their battery for Emunah. Because Emunah requires reinforcement. You think that Emunah, you go to Whole Foods, you're telling, give me 500 milligrams of Emunah, you take twice a day a pill, and Haje, you already have Emunah guaranteed? No, you need to put it into your brain. You need to put it into your neshama. That's what the Baal Shem Tov said to this fellow. The minute he says, the Baal Shem Tov, that you're going to start thinking, why do I worry? If nothing happens to me, sage suffer in his life? If I tell you 10%, you will cry. If we crying by the news from Israel, the life and the pain and suffering that Nahum Ish Gamzu experienced in his life, in his body, you'll say, how can someone have such a strong commitment of emunah to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? But that's why his name was patented. Gam Zu Letova. He says, even what it appears to be worst is for a good reason. I don't see the good reason to... the language of the person, the verbal expression of the person will turn into a negative. And if these words come out of the person's mouth, they have the potential of becoming a reality. It's not so easy. We're not saying that we are tzaddikim, but the Mishnah is reinforcing us this powerful message. Next, Al tenachemu b'sha'a shemeto butal lefanav. We mentioned about consoling someone that the dead person is not buried. Of the person, eno mekabel tanhumim. The ears are shut. That's the reason why. Between passing and burial, there is a halachic name. It's called onen, meaning to say, person is alive, hazaku baruch. God forbid a relative passes away. From the moment of the passing until the moment of burial, the family members who need to sit Shiv'ah are called onenim. Onen means exempt. The painful moment, get ready for the burial, get ready for the mizvah. Once the remains are covered on the ground, then the clock resets to start the mizvot again. Now, this is the halacha. And guess what? If you want to be holier than thou, you want to say, no, I can handle it. You know what the halacha says? Don't do it. Why? I want to do a mitzvah. At this moment, your mind is not in the mitzvah. Try to console the person, but you may say something that you may activate a flame, and suddenly your mitzvah went down the drain. That's why the halacha of visiting a mourner, many people may not be aware of this, but you know what is the proper protocol when you go visit a mourner? Number one is not a social visit. Number two, according to the halacha, you're not supposed to talk. That is the basic protocol of Nihum Avelim. Regretfully, many people don't know this, and it became a shmooze session. And people talk, and halachically and spiritually is not the ideal way, but obviously we are learning Torah, so I try to create awareness as the information comes across our Pirkei Avot. One more. Not good. Because if you do and you don't fulfill it, unfortunately, that activates judgment against the person. And that also blocks our prayers for 40 days. That's the reason why we have Hatarat Nedarim before Rosh Hashanah and before Kippur. Why do we nullify the vow, the promises, etc.? And if you did a promise or a vow in a previous lifetime, look at the prayer. It's not me saying it. That's what you say every Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. Ben behalom, ben behakitz. Being awake or being asleep. Ben begilgul zeh, ben begilgulim acherim. In this lifetime or in other lifetime. Also in the Kriyat Shema. Same text we say. Now, reason. Because if a person makes a nether and does not fulfill it, their tefillot are in suspense for 40 days. That's what the Zohar Kadosh says. So next time you do a Tarat Nedarim, read the introduction. It's very easy to follow. We don't do this on a regular basis, although I will tell you that in Israel and some synagogues in the world, they do a Tarat Nedarim mouth. So if I don't keep one, it affects the other. It's like the Hafetz Haim says about people that ask why people pray, and sometimes the prayers are like not reaching even the chandelier. It says very simple, because the prayers become contaminated. Now, how do you contaminate the prayers? If the prayers are spiritual and verbal, not even physical. Or reasons that a person needs to look into their own way, how they speak. And Be'ezat Hashem, if what goes in is good, and what it goes out is good, that's a problem. The Bishop Bar Yochai says the following: if the creation of humans would have been up to me, he says, I would have created act when we see somebody that did something, and all this is related to the proper timing of our words. So listen to the explanation of this concept. There is a solution if someone made a prayer of Atarat Nedarim. Not necessarily needs to be done a special bedin. That is a shortcut that is not valid for known promises. Many times we say things and we're not even aware that we said. For example, in the day of Rosh Chodesh, in the Bet HaMikdash, there was a certain offering. That a person didn't know that he was doing a sin. Only God can forgive on that level. We as humans, we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the power. So we combine a vedin, and the person says the prayer of Hatarat Nedarim, and we absolve the person. And I want to bring something not pleasant, but if you ever pay attention, hey, you made promises that were not kept. That's all is being done today. I did it last week. Sure. You have to bury someone, unfortunately, and we follow the protocol, and we made the Hatarat Nedarim. Sure. To make sure that the person doesn't leave the world with unpaid balances. going to start asking the question as a average person, not as a rabbi. Because as a rabbi, I need to ask you a few questions. Okay, tell me, why did you make this promise? What did you think when you made this promise? Did you really think that you're going to be able to do X, Y, Z, whatever? But if suddenly the person starts teasing him, how did you do such a foolish thing? You took a promise. I made another big deal. Says, it's a big deal. So therefore, the Mishnah is telling this average person, not the rabbi. Somebody made a promise, it's not your business. It's your business why you occur the person made a promise. You can suggest, listen, if you find a difficulty in keeping this promise, maybe speak to the rabbi that it can be reversed. No, the issue is that in my husband and wife relationship, the wife cannot really do promises or vows without the blessing of the husband. But let's say somebody else, that's why it doesn't apply, but let's say somebody else made it without being aware of this. So that's why the Mishnah says, don't be such a holy person. That is embarrassing. And the person becomes embarrassed for themselves and for everyone that watches him or her. So therefore it says, don't look at them because you're going to increase their embarrassment. I'll give you a simple example. You know what's written in the holy books? Don't look at the person while they are eating. Elegant, derecheres, adame. He uses a spoon, a fork, and a plate when he eats. You know what Isaac says? Why are you using a plate? Sure. Hal'itenina means pour. Down my throat. From the pot. Directly. Min ha'adoma. personally. Okay? But other people have different flavor. So Isaf says, the end is the same. I'm going to finish the whole pot. I'm going to eat the whole thing. So I don't have to wait till it's well done. That's the perasha. Now, I read something very deep the other day. Let me try to put it. Elementary school, high school, college, kitab. The layman term is the windpipe and the foot pipe. Correct? In the night of Pesach, we have a halakha that says that when we drink the wine and we eat matzah, what do? We is Hakol Kol Yaakov Be'ayadayim Yedei Esav. Says, I don't understand. You sound like Yaakov, but your hands feel hairy like Esav. So what made Ishaq say such a thing? Look in Rashi and other commentaries, and it says the way that Yaakov spoke. Yaakov spoke like a gentleman. And we all know the happy ending, that the blessing went one way to the life of Yaakov. And it says also in the name of Rabbi Moshe Cordovero that beracha could not be cloned. Because Esav says to Ishaq, I don't understand. Ha-beracha after Havdalah is an optional prayer, but it's a prayer that carries a lot of blessing. Now, also here brings a footnote, and it says as follows: if you see someone suffering, God forbid, Not 11 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning. I want to do Bikur Holim today. You're not doing a mitzvah, you're doing an avon, according to the halacha. First of all, 6 o'clock in the morning to visit somebody in the hospital, unless happens to be a relative, or like occasionally, unfortunately, I get late phone calls, Rabbi, please come, whatever. Okay, I gotta go. This world is considered a hallway compared to the great palace of the Almighty. But even to reach that destination, the person needs to come presentable to the Almighty. What does it mean? Here he talks about the midah of zerizut. Zerizut in English means in Yiddish audience. Says, don't do me no favors, the Mishnah says. Don't be holier than thou. If you see somebody in anger mode, take a step back. Because if you don't take a step back and you add your 2 cents, yagdil hamedura. You are extinguishing that there is a change of personality and behavior. I don't have to give credit to Marvel Comics, but understand that a lot of the things that the world out there takes, it originates from our Holy Torah. So it says, another example, so what we should do, says the Mishnah, wait till the right moment. And remember the opening statement, says the Me'am Lo'ez, that even God said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, is not the time to speak now. Because if you ask me now for forgiveness, my answer will almost 12. I'll go 1 or more 2 minutes, Be'ezat Hashem. First of all, prophecy can only dwell in the person if there is happiness. No happiness, no prophecy. That's simple. That's what we learn. Happiness lives. If happiness dwells, godliness comes. That's on the prophecy. On the hacham, on the wisdom level, I'm going to speak in simple terms. But when the person is calm, the we get better and better, which at the end of the day, as I've said many, many times, serving Hashem is not limited only to our godly relationship with Him, but also our relationship with others. Today's message had nothing to do with godliness. Yeah, that we threw in God